Hey guys, Sean here. Welcome to the F1 Word Live and to the qualifying watch-along for the 2019 Russian Grand Prix. Doesn't feel 5 minutes since Australia, but here we are in Russia, ready to go for qualifying. Plenty to talk about in this stream. Good afternoon, Jack. Also got everybody in chat. Daniel Philpott, Xbox Player, Clay Collins, Jacob Page, Hugh, Flying Tiger, Alex Aguero, Daydream of 4X. I'll butcher names, but thank you all for tuning in and to everybody ready for that one. Let's not talk about FIFA RC. It's still a bit of a raw subject for me. Let's not get onto that one. But we are here to talk about Formula One. It is the Russian Grand Prix, as I say, but I'm going to get all those rubbish disclaimers out the way to start with. If it is your first time watching, there is no race footage in this stream for obvious copyright reasons, just live timing, chat, and a few session updates as well. You can follow me on social media. All the links for that are in the description. You can support the stream as well. PayPal, Patreon, Streamlabs, whatever. They're all down there as well. Lots of links. So like I keep saying, more links than description. FP3 took place this morning. I just remembered I forgot to put the result in. So I'll very quickly do that whilst trying to seamlessly make out like I'm not a man trying to do two things at once as he slows down. There we go. Official result from this morning. Charles Leclerc. Once again, fastest. Ferrari looking very good. Looks like they finally unlocked that potential of the car that we saw in Barcelona all the way back in February. About bloody time. It's nearly October. Sebastian Vettel in second place. Lewis Hamilton third. Valtteri Bottas in fourth. 6/10 separating the top four. Not too bad. Max Verstappen, by the way, I still think Mercedes have got more to give. Max Verstappen in fifth. He takes a 5-place grid drop wherever he qualifies today, but he was quick yesterday, so maybe Red Bull in with a shot of a surprise pole, and maybe the lowest he'll start is sixth. In sixth, I missed that somehow. We get a nosebleed up there. Romain Grosjean. Seventh for Alex Albon. Eighth for Nico Hülkenberg. Ninth for Lando Norris. 10th for K-Mag. Pierre Gasly is probably going to have the better of the days out of the Toro Rosso boys. He's 11th. Daniel Ricciardo 12th. Carlos Sainz 13th. Antonio Giovinazzi 14th. Then you've got the racing points of Perez and Stroll. Kimi Raikkonen 17th. George Russell 18th. Daniel Kvyat, miserable day for him. We'll talk about him in a few. And Robert Kubica in 20th. And breathe, Sean. Right then, there is only really one place to start this morning, and that is with the news that from 2021 onwards, McLaren are ditching Renault and they're going back to Honda. No, not really. They're going to Mercedes, back to McLaren Mercedes for 2021. Their deal with Honda expires, not with Honda, with Renault, and you was going to do that, at the end of next season. So for 2021, with all the rules resets and all that jazz, they are going back to Mercedes, which, quite frankly, I'm thrilled about. McLaren Mercedes were a massive part of my childhood, and many, I'd imagine, watching right now. So it's great to see that name, if you like, back on the grid. And what could it mean for McLaren long term? Could they get back to title-winning ways? Going to be tough as a customer, but you never know. One thing is for sure. If there is a problem with the car and they're not quick, they can't blame the power unit. But I'll read you their statement from the website. You can check it out over at McLaren.com, I think it is. McLaren Racing and Mercedes-Benz announced today that the McLaren F1 team will be powered by Mercedes from 2021 until at least the 2024 season under a long-term agreement. So 1 year less than Williams, interesting enough. The agreement will bring McLaren and Mercedes together as customer team and a power unit supplier for the first time since 2014. So what are your reactions to that one, chat? I'm so pleased. Like I say, they were a big part of my childhood. McLaren Mercedes, watching Hakkinen take those back-to-back titles. I was actually counting some stuff up before today, and it surprised me. Only 3 drivers' titles with Mercedes, and only 1 constructors. I know, yeah, they probably would have won 2007 if they've not been extremely naughty in that whole Spygate thing, but really surprised they'd only won 1. I thought they'd done more than that, so a little bit surprised when I checked the stats out, but there you go. I'm just so pleased to see that name back, and I'm wondering if we might see, I know this doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, but we might see change to the livery, maybe go back to that, as you can see on screen there, that lovely silver livery. I know part of that was due to the sponsorship as well, but I think this is huge for McLaren. Absolutely huge. Honda, well, it's a disaster, really, wasn't it? I don't think we can dress that up any other way. Renault have been good. I think they've been really good with Renault. The power's been solid. I think we've seen at times this season. And I don't think they've been as bad with Renault as some are sort of making out today. And finally getting rid of Renault, going to get a decent engine. I think Renault have done all right with them. They've had a good partnership. They've worked well together. But I sort of agree with what Ted Kravitz was kind of getting at on Sky, in that it just, McLaren Renault, McLaren Honda, even though we had that history before, it didn't really feel right, whereas McLaren Mercedes just seems to fit. They've worked well together before, and I think there is a big difference in this deal in that it's a customer deal, so we can't get too excited in the sense that, oh my God, we're going to see the glory days return again, which we do with every single McLaren engine deal. It certainly feels that way, because this is a customer deal. When you go back to 98, 99 and the early 2000s, that was a works deal. They were Mercedes' sole focus. That is why they switched to the silver liveries for 97. I think it was 97 onwards. I think I was trying to think off the top of my head. It would have been, 96. They were the old Marlboro livery, weren't they? So 97 onwards, they went to the silver livery. They were their full focus. They're not going to get that this time. They're going to get customer supply, which again isn't a bad thing. A customer Mercedes engine. There's a reason why Williams have signed up to them, because then they don't have to worry about the power unit. Racing Point are going to stick around with them, we think. So I'd like to think this is going to propel them maybe to challenge the top three, but I don't think this is something that's going to throw them right to the front of the field and challenging for titles. And also, and I go back to all that over Red Bull and Mercedes. Are Mercedes really going to let McLaren beat them to a championship as a customer? I know I hate using the phrase, are they going to let them? Because at the end of the day, if McLaren build a good enough car and use that power unit to its full potential, tough if they beat you. But Mercedes aren't going to be giving power units out to teams that they think can genuinely challenge them for a title. I did see some stuff on social media, some people asking questions about maximum power unit supplies for manufacturers. As far as I understand it, it's 3. At the moment, Mercedes are at their maximum, so obviously they power themselves. I don't know why that needed explaining, but Mercedes do power themselves with Mercedes engines. It's a real shocker, I know. They also supply Racing Point and Williams too. This would give them a 4th supply. Now, I cannot believe that Mercedes and McLaren would announce this if they hadn't got clearance from the FIA. All they have to do is go to the FIA and say, hey, we'd like to supply another team. Is that possible? And they'll give them a yes or no, or there'll be a vote or something like that. If this wasn't cleared, I cannot see teams that are generally pretty good with their announcements and the way they play things like McLaren and Mercedes saying, hey, we've got power units, only to then potentially have to turn around in 6 months and go, actually, we were wrong. So I think that is probably done. I'm pleased this is for 2021 because obviously we've got all these question marks at the moment about the regulations for that year, and there are some that sort of say, why can't this be for 2020? Obviously they have a contract with Renault for one, but multiple other reasons. Trying to fit it in the car that late isn't going to be easy, but it's going to give Mercedes another vote. It's going to give Mercedes another vote in all the political stuff in the sport. And if they'd have got those power units in for next season, then maybe they could start to influence things for 2021. So at least it's from 2021 onwards, and they're not going to have that pull initially in the regulations. So I think it's just a little thing I spotted. I don't know if it really means anything. I might be completely wrong. They might get McLaren's vote now because they're going to be supplying them. But yeah. That's kind of how I feel. And I'm rabbiting away because I'm genuinely quite excited about it. And it's only an engine deal. It's not like a driver's just been announced and Mika Häkkönen's finally coming out of his sabbatical or anything like that. But it feels like a big deal. And F1 2021, all the hype around it, McLaren, Mercedes back. I might just sleep till then. I don't know how you feel about that. The channel will be quiet. That's for sure. Chat. I'm not going to try and read your name, but it says Racing Point for Renault. That was a rumour doing the rounds yesterday, actually. Joe, everyone's favourite 21st century journalist, Joe, put out a story. He actually technically broke the news. His sources were telling him this was done. And somebody said, I think under that comment, that they'd heard that Renault might be supplying Racing Point for 2021, and that's how McLaren are able to pick up this power unit. Now, we know they've got Williams on board till 2025. Mercedes have. That deal's already been announced. McLaren obviously is 2024. There hasn't actually been an announcement post 2020 for Racing Point, so maybe Renault could be an option for them. But with the links that Stroll's got to Toto Wolff and the close relationship that Mercedes and Racing Point have got, I cannot, number one, see them leaving Mercedes or Mercedes letting them go, or two, I don't think Renault want to supply anybody. And that might seem mad, but I was just listening to Cyril Abitbol on Sky before we went live, and he was very much talking about how this is a chance for them to put full focus on their team. The last time they won races was 2006. No, it wasn't. It was 2009, won't it have been? Was it 2009 or 8? Something like that. But they've been so long since they won. But when they were winning championships and they were winning races, they were only supplying themselves. So that was quite an interesting one. But I look at Honda and McLaren, And I think surely it's better to have at least one customer on board that you can look at Toro Rosso last year with Honda and how they are this year with Honda. Red Bull and Honda are throwing updates at that car left, right and centre to help improve it. It'd be great if Renault had, they're not going to, but like a Williams, like a Racing Point on board so they could help develop that power unit. But this is pure speculation. Let me know what you think in the chat and in the comments if you're watching this afterwards. My gut feeling is telling me right now that the reason Renault don't have any customers post-2020 is because they don't know if they're sticking around. I think they're probably leaning towards staying, probably. But I think it's still very much in the arms of the board. And it's going to be their decision. And the best they're going to finish this year is 4th. They've not got anywhere near podiums, which is what they wanted to challenge for. They wanted to close the gap on the top 3. They haven't. They're probably going to end up 5th. They could lose to a customer. Are they a team that are going to stick around? And let's be quite frank on this with Renault. I've said this so many times. They don't stick around. If they've had enough, they'll go. They'll come back in 3, 4, 5 years' time. But if they want to go, they'll go. And they're not afraid to turn their back on the sport. So it's going to be intriguing. It's going to be intriguing. And does somebody buy that team? Do they end up as a Lotus again, for example? Do Enstone go independent? Could Benetton come back? Oh, don't. We've got McLaren Mercedes back, Sean. Let's not start that. But let's carry on, because I could talk about this all morning, but I haven't really got time because qualifying is 14 minutes away from go. We've got Toro Rosso to talk about. Oh, my God. If you thought listening to the likes of Crofty & Co. getting it all wrong with Force India and Alfa Romeo and that, you are really in for a treat next season. Toro Rosso are looking to change their name for 2020 to Alpha, is it Tauri? It's spelled Tauri. Is it Tauri or Tauri? Let me know in the chat. I would say Tauri, with it being Tauri, with it being Italian, but they are looking to change their name for 2020 to a Red Bull clothing brand, I think it is. Let me just get the article up. It is a fashion brand launched by Red Bull in 2016, so they're going to ditch the Toro Rosso name, go with Alpha Tauri or Tauri, whichever one it is. Obviously used to be Minardi from 2020 onwards. It's not from this season. I did see somebody a few on social media talk about how it would be weird to see that change for this year. Apparently it is Tauri, so thank you very much. Not really bothered, to be honest. A lot of people love the Toro Rosso name. It doesn't really bother me, to be honest. Names aren't... They were doing it in Sky yesterday, going through all the teams, saying, let's call Mercedes Tyrrell, and let's call Red Bull Stewart, and let's call Renault Tolman and all that. And yeah, historic names are great, but Toro Rosso isn't that historic to me. And it does, if you do a direct translation of everything in the order, they are Red Bull, Bull, Red, Honda. it kind of does my head in a little bit. So yeah, it would be sad to see the Toro Rosso name fall in some respects, but they'll always be Minardi to me. But yeah, what is it? Alpha Tauri, I've forgotten it already. Alpha Tauri from next season. So we're going to have David Crofty over on Sky, and all other commentators talking about Sergio Perez in his Force India when it's actually a Racing Point, talking about Kimi Raikkonen in the Alpha, then having to explain that they don't mean that Alpha, they mean the other Alpha. It's going to be absolutely brilliant and totally not confusing for people. But yeah, that is from next season. They're looking to change their name. It's not confirmed yet. That's got to go to all the teams. I think it's been, let's have a look at the article again. It is believed that the name change requires permission from the F1 Commission, as it has been already approved by the commercial rights holder. It'll go to the teams. It's got to be unanimous for that to go through, and it's going to get put to an e-vote next week. I think they've got till Thursday to make a decision. So I can't see any team. I mean, there's some pettiness in Formula One at times, but I cannot see any team going, no, you're not allowed to change your name. I like Toro Rosso. Maybe Ferrari will use their veto for that. That'd be brilliant, wouldn't it? We've used our veto. What for? We didn't want Toro Rosso to change their name. We really liked it. So yeah, a new name. So yeah, we've got Alfa Romeo, Alpha Tauri, Alpha Point, says Marco. It might be the best way. We might as well have a third one. Must stress, Alpha is going to be spelled with a PH instead of an F. ALPHA, Tauri. And again, it is named after a fashion brand for 2016 that was formed in 2016 from Red Bull. Not the biggest news, but it'll be important to point out, and then you guys can start taking bets and open up a book on how many times Sean's going to get it wrong next season. Let's be honest, I'm still putting Albon in a Toro Rosso and Gasly in a Red Bull, so probably going to be a while till I get to grips with that one, and I keep calling Racing Point Alpha. Exactly. Racing Point Force India. So Crofty's not alone on that. I'll leave him alone. Yeah, it's just a name change. No biggie in that one, but be interesting. I don't know if it's part of maybe also Toro Rosso pulling away a little bit. I know it's still a Red Bull brand, but maybe just pulling away from the Red Bull name just a tad as well, because they are actually officially and technically an independent team. But yeah, we'll see on that one. There was some other news, actually, that was coming through a moment ago that I saw from Chris Medland over on Twitter. Apparently Daniel Kvyat, who has had, by the way, probably the worst home Grand Prix we've seen in a very long time for some drivers up until this point through practice. He pulled over in one of the practice sessions on Friday with, I think, a fuel issue. He's already going into this weekend starting from the back of the grid because he's got to take a full new power unit. He pulled over an FP3 with another power unit problem, and he's now had to take a full new power unit again. I mean, what's the point? just go home to bed. I feel for Daniel Kvyat so much this weekend. Home Grand Prix, everything that could go wrong is going wrong. And the guy's not even allowed to change his helmet. I mean, he wants to change his crash helmet to a special design for his home Grand Prix, and he's not allowed because he already used a special one for Monza, even though Max Verstappen's had at least 3 this season, and I think Vettel's had at least 2. But he's not allowed, and he's not happy about it. And I think just change it. What are they going to do? Sack him? They're not going to put him on the naughty step, are they, and stop him from racing because he's got a different crash helmet design on? Jesus. If you caught my tweet earlier, just imagine that rant in my voice. I was getting so fed up of them discussing it on Sky about how this rule is a good thing, or Crofty saying it's a good thing. We don't want drivers changing their helmets all the time. We're not able to recognise them. It's like, well, you could try the number on the car, or the name's on the car, or if you're watching on TV, you've got a ton of TV graphics around the car. You know, you tend to know, unless you're at the racetrack, who you're watching. And let's be honest, with that halo there, you probably don't see much of the helmet anyway, so it's not a big deal. It's such a stupid rule. It really is such a stupid rule. So, let him change his helmet. He needs something. Give him a boost. We're probably not going to see him anyway. His engine will blow up on lap 1 in the race. So he's not going to take part in qualifying, by the way. Back to the point. A frustrating weekend so far overall for poor Danny Kvyat. I don't really know what else to say on him. I'll tell you, his teammate's not having a bad weekend, by the way. 6th yesterday in one of the practice sessions, so he's looking good. So the Toro Rosso's got some pace. Can he recover from the back of the grid? I mean, I assume he's starting from the back of the grid. He might go from the pit lane. Depends how much they want to change on that car. But we've seen this season so many times a Daniel Kvyat Toro Rosso. Sergio Perez and Lance Stroll have both done it in the Racing Points. Cars able to get through that midfield with good strategy and getting some overtaking done. Albon in China, for example. I think he can still pick up points from there. And he's going to be pretty determined. Like I say, I keep saying it's home Grand Prix, so he's got that crowd behind him. He'll want to perform. But I think everything that's gone wrong for him is going to drive him on to get a good result. And I'm going to back him for points. I'll be cheering him on tomorrow as much as I can because he needs it. And again, let him change his helmet. It doesn't matter. If he wants a fluorescent pink one, as long as it's got like profanity scattered all over it, it doesn't matter, does it? It really doesn't. Don't get me started. Do not get me started. We're going to go over some... block you quickly. We are going to go over some predictions in just a moment. I'm just double checking actually that we haven't had any other news because I seem to think there was something else. The Turn 2 slalom, by the way, if you've been watching this weekend, that's been got rid of. There was a rule that if you went off at the first chicane, you had to go, left to the orange bollard, right to the white bollard, and then left to the yellow bollard and rejoin the track. And instead, drivers were either going through the yellow one, crashing into everything, or that was kind of it, really. They've changed that now. I'll read what it says. I don't think anybody really cares at this point. It's really just for the race, but... let's see what they say. They have difficulties. The system is revised and a new rule is now in place. Drivers only need to use the new system if they pass completely to the left of the orange curb prior to the apex. So that was the case on Friday. And they need to return by driving to the left of the white blocks and remaining to the left of the orange block in the runoff. Do you care? Do you care, chat? I don't know, but I'm going to let you know anyway. So that's pretty much it. I think on the news front, I think there's something else, but it's bugging me. I mean, we've got the next hour of qualifying, so if it comes to me, I can go over it then. But let's do some predictions. We are 6 minutes away from qualifying. That half an hour has gone a bit quick. I don't like this. Who is going to be on pole position? One surname in the chat if you want to let me know your top three. Absolutely feel free. I'll take some questions as well before the session gets going, and in the little gaps between sessions as well, read some of your comments and do some shout outs. But the music is starting. So who's going to be on pole? Who are you going with? I think I went with Bottas in the predictions on Thursday. Mercedes don't look quick. Lewis Hamilton records are losing 0.8 of a second on the straight. So they'll probably go lock out the front row by 9 seconds now. But I mean, I should stick with my prediction from Thursday, but to be honest, based on what we've seen so far, I cannot see anybody other than Leclerc on pole position, quite frankly. A lot of you in chat agreeing with that one. But I won't rule out Bottas because this is very much a track he enjoys. And RC there saying Hamilton, you can never write him off, can you? If he hooks that car up, gets its tyres working the way that he wants them, he could quite easily sit that on pole position. So I'll go Leclerc. But that doesn't mean that we can rule off the Mercedes. I will never rule off the Mercedes because I'm never 100%, I know I'm not alone in this, I never 100% believe what we're told when it comes to them. You know, Lewis Hamilton saying, we're 0.8 off sorry, that wasn't Blake Toro. So 0.8 off on the straights, and then they tend to go and put it on front row or something like that. So that was pretty normal. I want it on front row. Let's see what we've got super quickly. Grosjean says Daniel Philpott. Okay. Vettel Pole says Marco. Snow Leopard Productions says Leclerc. Freeze is saying Leclerc as well. John Michael says Bottas. George Vettel, Bottas, Hamilton. Annette, new moderator. Good afternoon, Annette. Is saying Leclerc. Alex says Hamilton. Let's have a scroll through. Sanita Genius Lad are saying Leclerc, so's king of memes. Bottas for the FIA stewards with Vettel and Leclerc in behind. Commander Benkai, Leclerc, Vettel and Hamilton. Lewis says Salou. Sue's going with Bottas. Vettel says Denzel. Marta Charles. Marco's going Leclerc. Richard says Marcus Ericsson. Yep, I'm feeling you. Logan Butcher, Leclerc. Gold saying Leclerc, a lot of Leclerc. Judith saying Vettel. Charlotte's going with Vettel. Seth, hi Sean, it's James. Stop it. Ryan Kelly, Leclerc. One Mercedes will be outside the top 10. Ooh, that's a prediction. Write it down, quick, everyone, write it down. Bloomy, good afternoon, mate. Working on some cool stuff. It looks ace, by the way. Sebastian Vettel, Leclerc 100%. Two more quickly. Daniel Martinez says Vettel, Hamilton and Leclerc. And let's see if anybody's gone any different way. No, Forza Ferrari says Leclerc, Vettel and Bottas. We'll leave it there then on predictions. I'm going to put my headphone in so I can listen to Crofty talking nonsense for a few minutes, and then I can at least relay some of that nonsense to you. Bloomy. Whoa. Bloomy in chat. Calm down, mate. Calm down with your prediction. He says, I reckon the pole sitter will have the fastest lap. Whoa. Just steady on, mate. Let's calm down. Let's all not act like we've been drinking. That's madness. But anyway, I'm going to quickly grab a mouthful of drink and we'll head over to the Watchalong screen. Hopefully this is going to work this week. Welcome to the F1 word. If it's cheesy, we'll take it. It's as simple as that. I love cheese. Yes, we are ready for qualifying one. Once again, if you are just tuning in, I'll do the disclaimers. We do not show any on-track footage here for obvious copyright reasons. Instead, we've got live timing provided by Planet F1. I'll be talking nonsense through the session, offering not really a commentary, just a few updates from it. We'll take lots of your chat comments as well. You can follow me on social media, links down there. Also, if you want to support the stream with contributions, donations, whatever you want to call them, you can do so. Links to PayPal, Patreon, Streamlabs and all of that are down there, and it's much appreciated. And as I always say, every penny that's donated goes back into the channel in some way, shape or form. Usually goes to Lewis, to Bloomy for all his graphic design. It's about all I pay for these days, but never mind. It's good stuff. We are approaching the start of Q1. That timing thing will update itself. If not, I'll resize it so that we get all 20 on. Don't worry. But yeah, big chance of rain today. Was going to chuck it down. That was a forecast. 70% was expected for qualifying and for FP3, and so far we've had absolutely nothing apart from a little bit overnight. So yeah, don't ever listen to weather forecasts before a race weekend. The session is about to get going. It's underway now. I'll set the timer off as well in just a couple of seconds so that we can keep on top of that. But we are away for qualifying. Very exciting. I think we're looking very good. I'll move that notification out of the way. But I think we're looking very good here. Or Ferrari looking very, very good. Russell, first man out on track, followed by his teammate Kubica. We will not, if you are just tuning in, not going to be seeing Daniel Kvyat at all in qualifying today, unless the camera wants to pick him up in the pit lane, because he's got more penalties for another power unit change. Poor lad. Poor lad. It is, yeah. Anthony says it's chucking it down here. It's not too nice here, actually, to be honest, in the good old Lincoln. Max Claydon, classic Williams first out in Q1. They always tend to be, don't they? They've not been too bad today of Williams. They've not, don't think I'm talking them up as been the next big thing and they're going to blow us all out of the water this weekend, but they've been much better than I was expecting. I'm just going to resize this timing screen as well. Charles Leclerc heading out on track. Is it going to be a fourth consecutive pole for him? 4 poles in a row. He's got more than anybody this season with 5 or 6 or 27. I can't remember the exact figure, but yeah, he's got more than anybody else this season. So it might be another pole. 4 in a row. That'd be a turn up, wouldn't it? Who else is out on track? So Leclerc and Vettel, they're going out on the medium tyres. Gasly, Giovinazzi, Raikkonen, Russell and Kubica all out on the soft tyres. Missed that from Leclerc's team. I don't think there's anything important. So yeah. Angelo, will we see McLaren back on top? I think we'd like to. I think a lot of people would. That's not a, it's not a British bias thing as such. It's just, like I say, my childhood was all about McLaren versus Ferrari, so I'd love to see them up there. But really, ultimately, the more teams that are competing at the front of the grid, the better. I can't really see Mercedes letting them beat them, but I can see them picking up podiums. They've not been on the podium since 2014. Magnussen stood on the podium in Australia 2014, and Button was promoted to third after Daniel Ricciardo was disqualified. And they've not won since 2013, 2012. It's been a while. A lot of people going out now. Hamilton, Bottas, Verstappen and Albon, Hulkenberg and Ricciardo still in the pits. Obviously, I've already said Kvyat not going out. Yes, Basim says, don't forget their podium in Brazil 2015. Yes, that was good. 2012. Well, I knew it was 2013 or 2012. I wasn't sure which one. I'll tell you what, Oliver Kenworthy, I think you asked earlier about Fernando Alonso. I'll answer that one in the little lull between Q1 and Q2. We'll have a quick word on Fernando Alonso. I think you can probably see where it's going. I think you've watched the channel a few times before, so I think you know where I'm going with that one, but we'll talk about it. But yeah, dry at the moment. Vettel really wide on the entry to turn 3, or the exit of turn 3 into, whatever their corner's a corner, it's like, it's the first chicane, the first breaking point is actually turn 2, but that's turn 1 for me. So I'm going to mess that up all weekend, so apologies. If I say turn 1, chances are I mean the first chicane. But yeah, using all of the runoff practically well over the other side of the white line. Nothing on track limits this weekend, and he's just extending the track everywhere, Seb. I'm not going to criticise him for that because every single driver will do it. The criticism falls with the race stewards. But I'm just going to keep watching this lap because so far I don't think he's kept it on the correct side of the white line for any of the corners yet. So, yeah, Leclerc purple in the first sector. Vettel going purple in the middle. He's got a little bit... slide and nearly... muck that up with Vettel. Big slide into 13. Not narrowly missing the wall, but if he kept sliding, he would have hit it. But Leclerc is about to go fastest. Russell, enjoy this moment. It's a Williams 1-2. Russell 36.2 and Kubica a 1.1. Watching Leclerc coming through the final corner now. He's going to go quickest, I would imagine. Well, he is going to. It's purple all over. He's going to beat the Williams. He is 2.5 seconds quicker, 33.6. No great surprises there. Still, both the Mercedes, Max Verstappen, and both the Renaults in the pits with Danny Kvyat. Raikkonen goes second. Just watching him Yeah, he's gone into 13. Looked to have gone quite deep, and then he's just slid as well off the track, and that was his lap butchered. But yeah, well, he'll need to run again. He might have to do a cool-down lap and then go again on the medium tyres, of course. That from Ferrari. Watching Perez at the minute. Got Checo, see how he gets on. Racing Point were not awful this morning. I've really, I don't know about anybody else, but I've really struggled to assess, if you like, Racing Point season. They've been all right. I don't think they've been awful, but they've not really. You know, you used to watch Force India and you'd be like, wow, they're having a great weekend. And then you look at Racing Point and you're like, doing all right. Norris up to third, Sainz second, Grosjean up to fourth. Jeez. 34.6, only second off Leclerc. I know he's on the mediums. Leclerc versus the softs for Grosjean. K-Mag goes second on a 34.1. Kubica was 4.2 off in FP3, like the hell says Xbox player. He wasn't he? Quite a way off. I think he was off yesterday as well. It's really hard to judge Williams as well. They're a team I struggle with. Yes, Vettel made a mistake. That's why the Williams is ahead of him. Perez over the line goes P6 behind Grosjean, 34.6. Only 300ths off Grosjean, so that's. I think we're going to get a very close fight here. Obviously, again, we're going to lose one less, if you like. Could a Williams get out of Q1? No. Albon, just watching him now. He's had a bit of an odd weekend, or a bit of a quiet weekend. I think Albon's doing all right. I was just pondering now, thinking about the other results. I think Singapore, he got a bit of stick from some, but because of the gap to Verstappen. But that's his first ever race at Singapore and his third in that car. I think he did all right. He's got, from what I've been reading, I think he's closer to Verstappen than Gasly was. Maybe I'm wrong. He seems to be. I think he seems to be closer anyway. He's certainly racing more aggressively. That being said, Gasly in that Toro Rosso, he seems to have settled down as well. What's the number 1, 2, 3, 4 all about? Which to the right of the gap on the timing? If you mean that one, that's how many laps they've done in this session. Hey Sean, give me a shout out. That's from JDM Jeffro. I need to stop doing that because I'm just going to get a load of requests for shout outs. Kubica having a bit of an off, or that's Kubica, that's not Russell. We can tell from the number on the car. Didn't even need to look at his helmet. Don't get me started. So we're going to see what was that, a spin? Waiting for a replay on that, but Vettel apparently caught out by that with the yellow flag, so that's a slide from Vettel which cost him his first lap, and then the yellow flag has cost him his second lap. A little bit of pressure on Vettel, 9 minutes 40 exactly to go, so yeah, bit of pressure on him here, but he's still out there on the mediums. Will he pit? I'm going to watch Kubica now. So he's gone into 13. I assume lock up and straight on. Yeah, lock up on the right front, straight on, and then just turns the car around. It looked like a spin, but it looked like a spin because he spun the car back round so that it could get going again. So, yeah. Anthony says, at the end of the day, he finished P6, the minimum to be expected, and Gasly would have been P9. As you say that, Gasly goes very wide out the final corner and has to give up on his lap. But yeah, that's it. 6 places for Albon, and he's absolutely fine. Seat at Red Bull is between them two, according to Marco. So, back to what I said last weekend, I think that's all just to motivate Gasly more than anything. I think Albon's got that one. I'm not reading that. But yes, absolutely. Esteban Ocon there in the Mercedes garage. Back in F1 next year, of course, with Renault. What does that mean for Hulkenberg? Wink, tune into the channel next week and I'll give my views. Shit plug. But yes, Esteban Ocon back at Renault, or at Renault next year and back in F1. Partner in Ricardo. I love that turn 3 in Russia, just watching Ricciardo. He's going through it slowly, but I just think it looks great. Such a great corner. Very Turkey turn 8, isn't it? It's probably based off that, to be fair. Sochi might not be on the calendar post 2020. Based on the comment sections of the preview, for those who are able to watch it, probably not going to be a great loss. I don't think many people are overly bothered that that's going to disappear. Possibly the track at St. Petersburg. Oh, no. Petersburg. That's been built, and apparently that's a possible location. But Sochi have said, the organisers have said that they've got a contract till 2025, so they've kind of dismissed that at the moment. But doesn't mean anything, does it, in Formula One? So I need to have a look, actually. Commander Benkai at this track at St. Petersburg. Need to have a look at that one being developed in the designs, because I've not really seen it. So Marco said it has a spicy layout. So yeah, what happened to Albon? Dylan wants to know. Nothing as far as I saw, unless he made a mistake. There was nothing that I saw on the TV. Oh yes, there was. He went a bit way too wide. I think he compromised his lap. But he should be okay. Leclerc going for another run. Hamilton currently fastest. 1:33.2. And Albon's in the wall. That's what's happened to Albon. Who asked that one? It's all your fault. Albon's in the wall. That's a red flag. Unless he can get going. No, his rear tyre's broken. Rear wheel. That is a red flag. We are red flagged. I'll pause that. Oh, dearie me. Alex Albon. Do you know, this is turning out to be an absolutely miserable ruddy weekend. An absolutely miserable weekend for Red Bull. Alex Shaw straight in. Gasly would never do that. I was just waiting for one. Or is it Verstappen? It's definitely out. I was going to say it's definitely Albon because we were watching him, but the graphic on TV said said Verstappen. That is Albon. Running down to turn 13. Let's have a look then. What's he done? Spun. He's gone down to turn 13. No lockup. Just lets the rear just gets away. Too much speed. Rear gets away. Straight into the wall. Broken rear wing. Broken right rear wheel and suspension. Was it a big enough hit for possibly concerns over the gearbox? And yeah, blew me there. Another Seb lap compromise. Good spot. It's a big pressure on him. 6:38, so there's time for him to do that. But Vettel cannot get a lap in. This is going to be a busy last 6 or so minutes. And of course, he's Crofty there just mentioning the gearbox, and Paul de Rest saying it doesn't matter, he's already going to be P18 anyway, which he will be, won't he? Because he's 18th now, then takes a 5-place drop, so they may as well change. I wonder if they'll change everything on that car. Might as well, hadn't they? Really? Just watching it here, but yeah. Yeah, I was just looking at Angelo. Medical team are down there. He's out of the car. He's fine. I get the point a bit. I was just watching that, a bit concerned the way they were sort of hovering around him, but I didn't think it was that big of an impact. But you never know, of course. But he's fine. He's out of the car, popping the steering wheel on. So that is Alexander Albon in the wall and out of this session. And on that note, I'm just going to disappear and grab a glass of water. So mods, you're in charge. Make sure everyone behaves. Whatever. And I will literally be no more than a minute, and then we'll see if this session is going to get going again. I said I'd be quick. There we go. Just had to go grab a quick drink. Quite stuffy. It's miserable here, but it's a bit warm. So yeah, quick drink. If you are just tuning in, Alexander Albon in the wall. We have a red flag at the moment in Q1. It's going to be a frantic last 6 minutes, as I said earlier. So, yes. Just gone in too quick into 13, too hot in there. Back end's got away. And that's all she wrote. So another car, Ferrari frustrated, obviously, because that's another lap compromise for Seb. Obviously, his first run, he made the mistake with the slide at 13. Not the easiest corner to get right at the best of times. We had, as Daniel Kvyat goes and sits on the Toro Rosso pit wall, bless him. Then we had yellow flags for Kubica's mistake. That compromises lap. And now we've got another red flag. Oh, we've got a red flag now compromising his other lap. So at the moment, if this session, which it won't, if it were to end right now, out would go Russell, Kubica, Albon, Vettel and Kvyat. This now makes things a bit less pressure on a few of the midfield teams now, actually, because obviously Albon is out. He's not going to improve from 18th because he's in the wall. Kvyat isn't going to be going out because he's got to take more penalties after another engine issue this morning. Vettel is, you would assume, going to get out of Q1. Russell and Kubica, you would assume, with respect to them, are going to be out of Q1. That means there is actually only one other spot available. So a little bit less pressure on this session for that midfield. We might get... At the moment, if Russell improves, it's Gasly that's out. But it was so close in practice this morning with some of the laps that we saw. And actually, really, Norris... I mean, if we go from Hülkenberg in 6th, there is actually only 1.1 seconds between him and Gasly in 15th. And his track will evolve. There was rain overnight, so... yeah. Somebody there, I just missed it scrolling up saying that Hülkenberg will go to Jaguar in Formula E. It's an option for him, isn't it? Mitch Evans confirmed. Oh, so pleased that Mitch Evans got confirmed at Jaguar. Fantastic season last year. Not enough hype around Mitch Evans for last year in Formula E. I know some of you don't care about Formula E, but we've got a red flag, so I'll take any opportunity. But yeah, such a good season last year, so glad to see him retain that seat at Jaguar. Who said that Albon wouldn't finish in the top 6? Asks David. Somebody did, didn't they? I think somebody else said that Mercedes would have one car outside the top 10. Just throwing that out there. But yeah, we'll see. Session on the brink of getting underway again, which is fantastic news. I'll keep an eye out for the green flag and hopefully get the timer started on time. If not, I'll have to do it again. But 6 minutes and 38 seconds to go. Albon on his way back to the pits on the back of a motorbike. Session will restart at 15:19 local, so 1 minute from now. Or possibly even less than a minute from now. So, yes. Here we go. George Russell 16th. Within 3 seconds, to be fair, of pole. I know that sounds absolutely awful, doesn't it? But it's not terrible for Williams, that one. Vettel down to the pit lane. He's going out on the softs, so Ferrari are not taking any risks now. So that's a waste of those medium tyres, isn't it? Yeah, let's reset the timer so that I make sure I get it right. Got 6:30. There we go. So they're out there. The green flag is away. Is flying. Vettel first one out, like I say, on the soft tyres. Can't afford to take any risks. He's got to just go for this now. Leclerc was going purple, actually. He went purple in the first sector on his run on those mediums. But at the moment, Hamilton 133.2, Verstappen 33.3, Leclerc 33.6, Bottas 33.7, Magnussen 34.1, Hülkenberg 34.2, Sainz 34.4, Norris 34.5, Ricciardo 34.5, and Grosjean 34.6. That's your top 10. I would guess Hamilton, Verstappen, Leclerc, Bottas. Do you know, possibly Magnussen as well. are pretty safe. He's only a half a tenth quicker than Hulkenberg. But I think most will run again. I think most will run again in this session. T-Cross says everyone will have a set of hards for the race if they need it, really. It is likely to be a one-stop race unless we get rain tomorrow. There is a 40% chance of rain when I did the forecast on Thursday, but there was a 70% chance it was going to rain in qualifying. So, Warren M, is that your cut-off time, mate? 34.3. You could be right, actually. Sainz on a 34.4, Hulkenberg 34.2. That could be a good shout, actually, mate, to be honest. 34.3. Keep an eye on that one. So here's Seb's lap then. Coming down to what is turn 2, but really turn 1. Into the braking zone. Cannot afford to make any mistakes on this one. Marco wants to know my predictions of who's going to take Red Bull's place in the top 6 on the grid. I'm going McLaren. Although Haas are good in quali, aren't they? And they're looking good again. K-Mag at the moment, in particular, up in 5th place. So Magnussen and Sainz maybe, or Norris and Magnussen, or both the McLarens. I'm just going to name every driver and then I get away with it, don't I? Rain to compromise Seb's last lap. It would be his luck, wouldn't it, Anthony? Definitely. He's a little bit bumpy over the curves there, but he's purple in the first sector. Needs that. He's going to come through now to the second DRS zone. The run down to turn 13, where obviously Albon stuck it in the wall. And of course, where Seb made a mistake on his first run. So he should be okay. He's 4 tenths up on his best, but he's not purple in the middle. He's clean through 13 now. And then it's, yeah, this awful twisty end to the lap. He should be okay. As long as he doesn't screw this up in the next 2 corners, he should be through. Knock on wood for Seb Vettel fans. Through the penultimate corner, into the final corner. This should see him through. Will it be fast? It will twitchy on the exit. It is fastest. It's a 33 flat from Vettel. Nearly 2 tenths quicker than Lewis Hamilton. Not Sebastian Vettel. He is Sebastian Vettel. Hamilton's going out again, interestingly. Verstappen and Leclerc look like, I mean, they're both in the car, helmets on, but you'd expect that. I wonder if they're going to go again. Bottas and Magnussen have gone again. Hulkenberg isn't on track at the moment. Sainz, Norris, Grosjean, Perez. It's easy to say who isn't out, to be honest. Obviously, Albon and Kvyat. Ricciardo isn't. Hulkenberg isn't. Leclerc and Verstappen are not either. I'm surprised Hamilton's gone for another run. Unless he's scrubbing tyres and we're going to get a load of backup now as they fight for position. So Williams go around outside of Toro Rosso. They're fighting. There's an actual race going on between a Haas, a Williams and a Toro Rosso for track position. And I think Russell's about to make a move. Having a cheeky look. I wouldn't bother, mate. I think that's Grosjean, is it? And then a Toro Rosso up the inside of the Williams. It's Magnussen, sorry. So Gasly passing Russell. Little race, why not? So I think somebody said earlier, I hope it's not another Monza. But I don't think it's... JDM Jeffro says Chaz had to replace Brundle. He used to do these with me, actually, did Chaz. When I first started them, but he wanted to go and do them on his own channel. So, yeah. Used to work. If you're long-term listening to the channel, you'll remember all of that. I used to work with Chaz quite a bit, but went and focused on his own channel. He's doing a good job. And then I replaced him with Dan. I mean, come on. Really? That was a mistake, wasn't it? Oh, no. Dan's all right. Yeah, Verstappen, Leclerc and Hulkenberg are not going out. Ricciardo has now. I was going to say, had to go out from 10th place. Surely. You're welcome, Pierre. Thank you for your support, for coming along. The timing is damn wrong, apparently. That updates when Planet F1 updates it. It's not mine, mate, I'm afraid. Looking at some stuff for next year, but Planet F1 Theirs is always on a delay anyway. So, as I said last week, I did ask F1 if I could use theirs, but it was a firm no. Yeah, as you'd expect, pretty much. Got Norris. Going to come round. Should be okay in ninth. I mean, I think it's going to be close. What did Warren M say? 34-3, I think it was, wasn't it? So Sainz goes up to 6th, so he should be okay there on a 34-1. Over the line goes Grosjean, only a 34-2 into P10. Magnussen across the line, P6 again, 33.8. He should be okay. Gasly into that final corner. He moves up to 11th on a 34-4. Over the line goes Russell, only 17th, but not bad. Obviously helped by the fact that Albon and Kvyat are out of the session. We're watching now Lance Stroll, a bit twitchy through there. Can he get through? He should do, yeah. P11, 34-2. Stroll finding form in qualifying in the second half of the season. Bottas over the line, up to 4th place on a 33-4. It is Raikkonen or Giovinazzi at the moment, dropping out. It is between the Alphas. Who's it going to be? Raikkonen not improving in the middle. Oh, and he's got it all wrong in that final corner, Kimi. And he's 15th. If Gio improves, which he does, Giovinazzi once again out-qualifies Kimi Raikkonen. Perez will go over the line and complete his lap as well. Ricciardo's okay. But Kimi Raikkonen joins George Russell, Robert Kubica, Alex Albon and Daniel Kvyat out of this session. Ricciardo across the line to move up to 7th on the 34-1. Giovinazzi really improving this season. I said it in the preview, race on race, he seems to be getting better. And he's in 15th place. I know that doesn't sound exciting, but out-qualified his teammate again. Well done to Gio. Good stuff from Gio, yes. But Vettel fastest in that session. Lewis Hamilton 2nd, Max Verstappen 3rd, Bottas 4th, Leclerc 5th, Raikkonen swearing on team radio, Magnussen 6th, Ricciardo 7th, Sainz 8th, Norris 9th and Hülkenberg in 10th. Grosjean ended up 11th, 12th for Lance Stroll, 12th for Lance Stroll in Q1. All went wrong for Raikkonen that final corner, got it all completely wrong. What's the off-board showing? Let's have a look. Yeah. It hit the curb on the inside quite a bit harder than you would expect in 18, so cost it. But Lance Stroll, 12th, good stuff from him. 13th for Sergio Perez, 14th for Gasly, it's Giovinazzi 15th, and then out of this session, it's Raikkonen, Russell, Kubica, Albon and Kvyat. If you are just tuning in, Alex Albon crashed at turn 13 and brought out the red flag, but only qualified 18th at that point, so he is out of the session. Completely wouldn't be able to anyway. It looks like it. I mean, he was going to be right down anyway with the penalty, and obviously he'll probably take gearbox and that now. And Daniel Kvyat, again, if you are just tuning in, he took penalties before this weekend, meaning he'll start from the back of the grid. He had a miserable time in practice, had to take more penalties because his engine let him down again. And yes, there you go. He will not be taking part in qualifying. So that's a shame for Danny Kvyat at his home Grand Prix. But yeah, pretty miserable for Red Bull this weekend. I know they chose to take the penalties and whatnot, but obviously Verstappen gets a 5-place grid drop. Gasly gets a 5-place grid drop. Albon would have got a 5-place grid drop, probably going to be more now. And Daniel Kvyat's got a 972 grid drop because of the amount of parts he's had to take. But yes, we are gearing up now for FP. Not FP at all, it's Q, isn't it? Q2 will be the next one. There we go. Let's change that. I thought I'd check the cut-off. I think Warren said 34-3. We're a bit off that actually in the end. 34-7 was Gio's time and 34-8 for Kimi, but Gasly 34-4. Marco says Kvyat is going to start from Sector 2 at this rate. It's quite a hefty one, isn't it? So we are between sessions. So somebody, who was it? Was it Oliver in chat? Wanted to know my thoughts on Fernando Alonso possibly returning to McLaren in 2021. Now they've got those Mercedes power units. McLaren Mercedes back for 2021. No, he'll want to. I think if McLaren can give him... If he thinks McLaren are going to have a good car and they've got one of, if not the best power units on the grid. Certainly the best power unit over the last so many years. I think Ferrari've probably got the edge now, but he'd be tempted. I think, as Simon Lazenby put it to Zach Brown earlier, will it prick his ears up? I think Fernando Alonso will definitely keep an eye on that situation. But Zach Brown's already said he's very happy with Carlos Sainz. He's very happy with Lando Norris. I don't see how he can't be. Sainz has been magnificent this season. Probably going a bit far. I think he's been brilliant. Lando Norris has surprised a lot of people. He got, over here in the UK, you'll know if you hear, he got so much hype around him. And I was like, just calm down. He's not this superstar just yet. And he's still got a long way to go and mistakes have still been made. But he's been excellent this season, considering his age. He's a rookie. The pressure on him as well. I think they'd be mad to make any changes at the moment. Alonso, though, fantastic racing personality, phenomenal driver, double world champion. He's going to tempt most teams, but the problem is, it's not like things ended particularly brilliantly with him and McLaren, and it was, by all accounts, a bit of a rough old time behind the scenes, so I can't see why they'd want to upset the balance. They seem to have a really good dynamic in that team, and not just with the drivers, but throughout. The changes in the way they've structured it. Zach Brown, I'm not his biggest fan, but I think he's doing a great job with that team. Is it Andreas Seidel, the new team boss, if you like? He's changing things there. They've got James Key in. I don't think they need to go and mess things up too much. I think get those Mercedes engines in, get that car where it needs to be with the chassis, and stick with Sainz and Norris for the long term. I think that's the way to go. And it's another... somebody in chat there saying he's getting old, not in his prime. He's still young enough to be in F1, of course. I mean, Kimi Räikkönen's 63 and still racing, so and will be for the next 30 years, so that's absolutely fine. But it's another 2 years down the road, and it's another 2 years on his age, obviously. So I just don't. I keep saying it, and I don't mean it with any disrespect, but I think we need to just let Fernando go now. He's made his choice. He wasn't happy with Formula One, and he's moved on. I think we all should as well. But Q2 is underway. I will end that with the usual caveat I always do in videos and streams. You never know in F1. You never know in F1. He could rock up, jump in that McLaren in 2021, win 3 championships and bog off. You never know. You just never know. But if I were in McLaren's position, I wouldn't take him. Mercedes straight out. Mediums for Mercedes. Mediums for Leclerc. That's his old lap. Sorry, that's not right. So it's 2 mediums and a soft at the moment. So Hamilton, Bottas and Verstappen all out on track. Max, again, 5-place grid drop. Wants to try and qualify as high as he can. He wasn't quite as quick this morning in FP3 as he was yesterday, but we'll see as this session unfolds. Might surprise. Don't seem to have seen too much squabbling for the toe either. It's a bit of a tricky one in Sochi, because they've got a long run down that sort of straight banana thing. And a toe would be a benefit, but you don't want to then get caught behind the car in front in some of the tighter 90 left, 90 right corners. So a toe would probably benefit, but you'd need to have that toe and pass that car by the time you got to turn 2, really. So nobody seems overly fussed by it. I don't think we'll see a repeat of Monza, is kind of the point I'm making there. But everybody heading out now, pretty much. Just check who's left to go. I think that is everybody. So Vettel has gone out on the soft tyre, curiously. Bottas the mediums, Hamilton the mediums, Verstappen the softs, Leclerc's gone out on the softs as well. Everyone else obviously will be on the softs, but out of the top 6, only the Mercs have gone for the mediums. That's an interesting one. So are they thinking medium to hard tomorrow? I can't see. I mean, the temperatures aren't supposed to be too high tomorrow, but I can't see them trying medium soft. I mean, they could. Vettels aren't new either, by the way. I just need to take credit there. They are an old set. They are a used set of softs. So this lap won't really matter for Vettel, because they're not going to send him out on a set of used soft tyres, put his fastest lap in, and then let him start on those if they've already done a load of laps. So ignore Vettel in the early stages, I think, is the right way to go. Unpopular opinion, Hulkenberg deserves a seat more than Ocon. Ocon, in my opinion, is a bit overrated. He is good, but a little overrated. Agree on the overrating. I like Ocon. I do. I've been pretty consistent in my opinion with him in that I don't think he's this amazing superstar next best thing that some people are making out, but he's definitely better than others make out. Some people think he's absolutely terrible. He's not absolutely terrible at all. But then I spent 2 years trying to convince people that Van Dorn isn't terrible. But there you go, what do I know? A lot of traffic here potentially for Bottas. Should be okay. But yeah, I think Ocon's a very good driver. I would take Ocon over Hulkenberg now at the moment because he's the future, Hulkenberg sort of the past. But I think Hulkenberg gets a lot of unfair stick as well. But then there's a lot of people pointing out if Hulkenberg's as good as people make out, then why is he not on the grid? You know, it's difficult. I look at the whole has Hulkenberg had his time thing. I'm going to do that next week in a video, so I won't say too much, but I like Ocon, and I think looking for the future, he's the right call. Maybe in the short term, perhaps he's not, but it's all going to come, yeah. If Renault don't stick around, then it makes sense to take Ocon for a year, doesn't it? But we'll see. Verstappen currently fastest, as I say that he hasn't been quick this weekend, but obviously the Mercedes, Mercedes obviously on the medium tyres. He's only 400ths quicker than Hamilton. So the Red Bull pace doesn't appear to be there because Max has done his on the softs, Hamilton and Bottas both on the mediums, and they're both within a couple of tenths. Perez goes fourth, only 8 tenths off Verstappen's fastest time. That's a good lap from Perez. Obviously, nobody else has set a time just yet, but that in terms of how close he is to Verstappen, as Leclerc goes and does a 32.4, 6.5 tenths quicker than Verstappen on the same tyre. I'll shut up then. Hulkenberg up to 6th place, 1.5 off and just behind as well. As Vettel goes second on a used set of softs, 6 tenths off Leclerc. Ferrari looking good. I asked at the start, have they finally, now they've sorted their correlation issues, have they finally unlocked the potential that we all saw in Barcelona of that car? Bit late now. But yeah. I was listening to Anthony Davison. It's not. It's Paul di Resta replacing Martin Brundle this weekend. I can't remember if Martin Brundle's doing the last 5 races. Or not. I know it doesn't really matter. Paul di Resta's all right. I don't think he's too bad. I do prefer Martin Brundle, obviously, but looking good for Ferrari, I think, for pole here. At the minute, on fresh soft tyres, Leclerc 6 tenths quicker than Verstappen. Obviously, Vettel's in between them, but he was on the used softs. What's the delta? I think again, I need to check this 4 streams. Brundle, yes, that's right, Alex. Thank you. Brundle is racing this weekend. That's why. Thank you for that. I'd forgotten. I needed to say last weekend on the coverage. Mercedes won't be too disheartened by that gap, really, given that they're on the medium tyres. So you still run these tyres if you make it into the top 10, even if you fall outside the top 10 with penalties. Yes, that's correct, Commander. That is correct. There's grey areas everywhere. You know, if you're disqualified, do you have to start on those tyres? I think you do. I don't know, but yeah, even if Verstappen ended up 6th in this session and then took a 5-place drop and he started 11th, he would still have to start on the soft tyres that he's run, or the tyres that his fastest time on in Q2. Hit a bit of a lull at the moment, just Norris out there, but he's coming back to the pits. The 2 Haas boys are coming back into the pits as well. So we're into that mid-session lull. It tends to happen, doesn't it? That's Gazzy at the Weybridge, I think. So it's looking good for Ferrari. Long way to go yet. Long way to go yet, of course. Pierre wants to know about Kimi and I have no idea. I don't. If Alpha can't get that right, and they're a team in F1, what chance have we got with those rules? Yeah, Really bizarre. I did mention in the preview as well, just while we're in this lull, Alpha lost, if you like, their appeal against their penalties in Germany, if you didn't catch that news. That was disappointing for them. Great news for Williams and Kubica fans as well. He gets to keep his point. But yeah, they've lost their appeal over that whole sort of traction control-y simulating thing or whatever it was at the time. I didn't fully get it, but that's not who I am, so. People give Crofty too much stick. He's excellent at hype and keeping things exciting. Minor errors are irrelevant to me since he is really good at keeping energy up. He's definitely energetic. My issue with Crofty is... how can I word it? I find sometimes he's argumentative for the sake of being argumentative. That makes sense. Like this morning with the whole helmet thing, the way he was arguing with Ted Kravitz, you're like, all right, just shut up. That's just, I don't have a big issue with him. It's just a personal thing on Crofty. He does get a lot of stick. He brings some of it on himself, to be fair. I think everyone will admit that one, but he's not terrible. I will put this to you though. Could you imagine Murray Walker commentating today in the social media era? Could you imagine the stick he would get? Put it that way. I'm not comparing Crofty to Murray Walker. There's no comparison there. But you think of the mistakes that Murray Walker used to make and some of the things he used to say, and his blatant bias at times as well. Bless him. He'd get torn to pieces on social media. So Crofty's probably got it quite easy in comparison to what Murray would get. But I miss Murray. I do miss Murray. His Murrayisms are brilliant. What tyres is Carlos Sainz on? Everybody but Mercedes are running the medium tyres. The soft tyres, sorry. Mercedes on the mediums, everybody else on the softs, and they will be as well. 5 minutes to go. Quick slug of me drink. It's going to get interesting, I think, now. Perez and Norris have the same time. They do indeed. It's a 33.958 for those two. Perez and Norris. Hulkenberg, though, 33.972. I love this midfield. 33.972. Sainz 33.985. So there is 300ths between 4 cars. Throw Gazzy in there. It's 500ths. Ryan Kelly wants to know what I'm drinking. I'm 33. Are you ready for this? Ribena. 33 and I'm drinking Ribena. Other blackcurrant drinks are available, of course. Yeah. Why not? Nothing alcoholic yet. It's a little bit early, but I've got some cider coming with the shopping later, so might have a couple tonight. Here we go then. 3 minutes and 50 seconds to go, and everybody pretty much coming out the midfielders. Gasly, Perez, Norris, Sainz, Magnussen, Grosjean, all out on track. Vettel heading out as well. Anthony says, my favourite Murrayism is there's nothing wrong with the car except that it's on fire. Oh, he had some great ones, didn't he? He absolutely was brilliant. I mean, me and John talked about this before in streams. One of our favourites is now the boot is on the other Schumacher. I love that one. Pierre says, wait, Sean is 33. Yes, I am, but we don't tell anyone, so shh. Just watching a replay of, Seb having to let a Toro Rosso out the garage. Yeah, should be right with that one. Might get an unsafe release, but we'll see. Sean, is this Williams' worst year of the hybrid era? Remind me in the lull between sessions and I will have a look for that one, but possibly. That could be worth a chat. Right then. So at the moment, I'm just trying to catch up again. Magnussen, Grosjean, Stroll, Ricciardo and Gio are all dropping out as it stands. 2 minutes to go, just over. Stroll is first to run. Leclerc currently fastest. Let's see what happens here. He didn't go quite as wide, Stroll, on the exit of turn 2 as the likes of Vettel and co do, which is quite interesting. Obviously, more comfortable keeping it on the track, which is good to know. Coming through 4. Keep it, not really much to say, just Lance Stroll driving around the track. Decent, yeah, not a bad one. 700s up on his personal best. Or is that, no, that's to get through. So, maybe not then. It's a big, super wide through 7. That's going to have cost him a lot of time. And that's probably a lap over. He should be able to get another one in if he wants to. But obviously, he's used all his battery and whatnot. So, I'm just going to watch this second sector time. I think no, he's not. He's well off, nearly 4/10 off the time to get himself through. So, yeah, that cost him so much time. He will be able to go again, but I don't know what he's going to have in terms of battery charge and things like that. So, he is backing off, shaking his head, but he's going to have to go again. Perez also not making it through as it stands. Norris is okay at the moment. His personal best. Sainz is improving as well. Vettel's just gone purple on a fresh set of soft tyres. I think Gasly's been off as well. Now Stroll going again. He's going to have to. So over the line goes Perez. He can go again if he wants to. Norris moves into 6th on a 33.7. 15 seconds to go. Sainz over the line goes 7th on a 33.8. So Norris just ahead of his teammate. What can Grosjean goes 6th on a 33.6? Jesus. What's Grosjean been drinking? Jet fuel. Wow. Danny Rick he's improved in the first, not in the middle. Hulkenberg the opposite. We might be about to lose a couple of Renaults here, although Ricciardo's probably going to put it on fastest now. Oh, a bit of grass on there as it goes 9th, 33.8. Magnussen pits, so Magnussen's out of the session. Gasly's out as well by the look of it, unless, yes he is. Gasly is out. Not a good day at all. Giovinazzi is going to be the next one to go. He's improving his Giovinazzi. Green in the first and green in the middle. Vettel moves up to 2nd place and we'll get to use those soft tyres for the race. I don't think, no they haven't. Mercedes have not improved on their tyres. So Giovinazzi only 13th. So he's out-qualified his teammate but doesn't go any higher than 13th. Will improve with Gasly's penalty, of course. A bit anticlimactic at the end to that one, but we have lost. I don't think Stroll's going again. Yeah, he's backed out of his lap. He's not going again. So out of Q2, it's Gasly, Perez, Giovinazzi, Magnussen and Stroll. Again, that'll put Perez in 11th, Gio 12th, Magnussen 13th and Stroll 14th with Gasly's penalties. Hulkenberg and Ricciardo just scraping through by less than a 10th actually. So that was close. Don't know what happened to Magnussen's lap. I'm sure we'll get a replay, but he abandoned that and pitted at the end of it. So not good, but really, big surprise of that session was Rogro in P6. Leclerc, Vettel, Verstappen, Hamilton, Bottas, Grosjean, Norris, Sainz, Ricciardo and Hulkenberg, your top 10. And again, we've lost Gasly, Perez, Giovinazzi, Magnussen and Stroll. Yeah, absolutely blew me. Very disappointing session for K-Mag. McGath says, where's Dan when you need him? Dancing. Dancing somewhere now. I'm waiting to see Magnussen's lap because that was he was good in Q1, wasn't he? So I'm just surprised to see him down there. So Dan's here. He's in chat. Q3, baby. Shut up, Dan. Calm yourself. Calm yourself. He'll only end up 10th, so shouldn't worry. I suppose the question really is, can he get within 5 places of watching Stroll go very wide through 7? Up on a sausage curb and everything there. But yeah, can he get within 5 places of Verstappen? Because that's another place, isn't it? Sean, will John to be on the race stream tomorrow? Not. I don't think nobody does the race watch along with me because I ruin it for them because they're on delay. So I end up ruining it for him. So nobody wants to do those with me. So it'll just be us for that one. But for the race reaction, I forgot to ask him. So I will put that to him afterwards. I know Dan's with me. For the race reaction, so I will ask John if he's going to be with us for that one. That was the question. Is this the worst Williams season of the hybrid era? Let's go and have a look. I would be inclined to say yes as a guess. I'm going to scroll through and see if I can find. I don't know if there's a list of where they finish each year or anything, but I don't think so. If we go in 2014 was the start of the hybrid era, wasn't it? Well, we know 2014 was good, and we know 2015 was stellar as well. So those two aren't going to be the worst. 2016, as I recall, wasn't awful for them. 2016, they were still 5th, so that's not absolutely diabolical. It's actually really, really good. 17, I can't see it not being the worst. 17, they were still 5th as well. So, yeah, I think we can see where this is heading because last year they scored more points than this, didn't they? I think they were... They were bottom of the championship, but officially not because Force India Mercedes were bottom of that championship because that was the old Force India, but because they were excluded. But yeah, Williams, it is. They had 7 points last year. It still ended up 10th. So yeah, absolutely. That answers that one then. There we go. A shame. But is that their worst season in history as well? This has got to be up there as one of their worst. Max needs to score as high as he can. Hopefully top 3. Says a gentle smackdown. Yeah, I think once Merck get those soft tyres on and everything turned up, I think he's probably going to end up 5th. But that's still a top 10 start, so it's not too bad. Yeah. Kimmy not happy over Team Radio, you think, Crofty? He was a bit cross, is the phrase I'm going to go with. Let's get me timer set up for Q3. The Mercedes engine from McLaren has been confirmed. Yes, it has. We were discussing that earlier, actually. Is it Louis? I'm excited. Like a kid at Christmas. What if Williams teams up with BMW, says Angelo. Oh, let's just all go back to the... Let's all put our rose-tinted spectacles on and go back to the good old days when everything was so much better and we never had any of this controversy or drama and the racing was phenomenally close. That's not aimed at you. That's people that are always screaming that F1's terrible now and it was so much better back in the day, back in the early 2000s, and it's like, yeah, no. It happens. Singapore, I think, was good for Singapore. But really, I don't think we've had a bad race since France. We're now heading towards October, so I've just jinxed the whole weekend. Russia will be terrible, but BMW won't come back. I can't see it. Their focus is on FE now. I wonder if Mercedes might consider that. I think that's one of the rumours that started doing the rounds after McLaren signed that deal, or sort of talk on social media and some others as well, thinking that Mercedes might disappear, focus on Formula E, and McLaren will take that works spot. But Mercedes, Toto Wolff saying in a press conference that they were 100%. They were going nowhere. So I think that's just all to sell the papers and all to get people clicks on their sites. I can't see that happening. I'd be very surprised if Mercedes disappeared. Why would you as well if you're Mercedes, if you're winning all the time? Just no need to, is there? Everyone gearing up. Apparently 2011 was Williams' worst season. I suppose officially this one hasn't finished yet, has it? So it might not count, but I can't remember 2011. Can't remember yesterday, to be honest. Here we go. They're just waiting for the timer to start, and then we'll be away. Waiting for the green flag. Everyone in their cars ready to go. 12 minutes if you're new to F1 for Q3. And this is the shootout for pole position. Looking good for Ferrari. Quickly then, before they all go out. Surname in chat, who do you think will be on pole position? I think it's looking very good for Charles Leclerc, isn't it? But let me know what you think. Final predictions. Just listen to Crofty, he's got a stat. Oh, good stat, Crofty. That's what I tell you. Crofty's good with his stats. If Charles Leclerc gets pole position, he'll be the first Ferrari driver since Michael Schumacher at the end of 2000 and beginning of 2001 to take 4 poles in a row. That's a stat, isn't it? Really? That can't be right. Madness, absolute madness. But yeah, what a turnaround this season. Hey, championship's still done. I know the championship's still done, but we can enjoy the final races, not having to think about the championship. It's Lewis, 6th time world champion by the look of it, and rightly so. Mercedes got their car right at the start of the season. He drove brilliantly, fought off his teammate, and there you go. I mean, you never know, do you? 5 races to go after this one. You never quite know in Formula 1, but I think if we're going to see a championship fight from Verstappen or Leclerc, Mercedes needs some Hockenheim-style weekends, don't they? Angelo's given us a full top 10 by the look of it. Leclerc, Vettel, Verstappen, Hamilton, Bottas, Norris, Ricciardo, Hülkenberg, Sainz and Grosjean. There you go. Here we go as well for Q3. 10 minutes and 10 to go. So they'll go for a run. Again, if you're new to F1, they'll go for a run, come in, put some new tyres on and go for another run. All 10 actually have gone out. We sometimes tend to see the likes of Hülkenberg and co wait for the second runs, but they are going to go for 2. Let's have a look. Yeah, the other, so you got Norris, Sainz, Grosjean, Ricciardo, and yeah, just those 4 on used soft tyres. Hülkenberg on fresh. And then obviously the 2 Ferraris, the 2 Mercedes, and the Red Bull of Verstappen on the fresh soft tyres as well. I've been surprised by Bottas today. Not in a good way. It's a track he loves. He took his first ever win in Russia, of course, as well. Good at getting pole. Some would say should have won last year, but team sport, let's not get back into that. Could have won last year. I expected more. He looked good. He was quicker than Lewis in practice on Friday. He was looking very strong. But it's all kind of petered out a bit today. A bit scruffy in FP3 as well at times, but he's purple at the moment. First one to go for a lap time, really, so or a lap time that matters. Everyone else on the used tyres, of course, so... Oh, twitchy. Just listening. Yeah, I'll look at the timing screen. I was listening to Crofty say it, but I could look at the timing screen. First sectors on this first run. Hamilton a 33.9. Vettel a 33.4, Leclerc a 33.4. At the moment, on this lap, Ferrari half a second quicker in the first sector than Mercedes. Wow. 31.5 matching. So the middle sector is very much a Mercedes sector. This is interesting, actually. Ferrari have got the first sector. The Ferraris are, yep, thank you, Crofty, neck and neck at the moment. Hamilton is going to go fastest, but what's he going to do? It is a 32.6 for Bottas, 32.3 for Hamilton. Here come Vettel and Leclerc. What can they do? It is 32.1 for Vettel, and Leclerc over the line is going to do another corner yet, Sean. Steady on. It's a 31.8 from Leclerc. Oh, 31.8 for Leclerc, 0.3 quicker than Vettel, half a second quicker than Hamilton, 0.8 quicker than Bottas. Verstappen having to take a couple of bites at the final corner, only goes 5th, 32.7. Nearly a full second off the pace, but Bottas 8/10 off Leclerc. That is a lap from Charles. Obviously, that is a great lap from Charles. That's what I meant to say. It's obviously a lap from Charles. Yeah. I'll talk about that in a moment. Behind that, Hülkenberg 33.6, currently in 6th place, will be 5th, of course, with Verstappen's penalties. Norris 7th on a 34.1. Yeah, good point, actually. Hülkenberg was on the fresh soft tyres. Norris, Sainz, Grosjean and Ricciardo are on the used, so that doesn't really mean too much at the moment. But among those four, Norris, Sainz, Grosjean and Ricciardo, 2/10 separate them, so that's going to get tasty. Apparently the stream is a minute. It's YouTube. YouTube's got a delay. I don't know why YouTube has a delay. I assume it's a thing with their system. Streams are always behind. To be fair, it's usually less than half a minute. But yeah. Everyone coming in. Fresh sets of tyres. Marco says, can we see another Ferrari 1-2? We've got one at the minute. Just watching Bottas. He did make... Yeah, that rear end got away. 3.7. It won't cost him a huge amount, but it will have cost him some time, but not 0.8 of a second. That is a big gap. I thought Mercedes would be closer than that. Smoking brakes on the Mercedes. Very smoking brakes on Mercedes. Get some, yeah, fans on there. I misheard that, but I'm glad that he said it again, asking the team to check his shifts. Having a bit of oscillation through on the exit of 3. He did say shifts. SHIFTS. Yeah. Anyway. Run through the order while they get their tyres changed. Let's have a look. Leclerc 131.8, Vettel 132.1, 3/10 between them. 32.3 in third place for Hamilton, 32.6 for Bottas, 32.7 for Verstappen in fifth, 33.6 for Hülkenberg, 34.1 for Norris, Sainz 34.2, Grosjean 34.3, Ricciardo 34.3. Everybody in that top 6 on fresh softs, and then obviously the rest of the top 10 on the used. Angelo says Hamilton wants his car checked. The end is near. Yeah, usually when we get there's something wrong, he tends to go and stick it on pole, doesn't he? So we'll see. I'm not sure, Metal Gear. Obviously in Q2, medium tyres, they're about 7/10 off Mercedes, and I thought with the delta being, it's not a huge delta, but I'd expect them to be closer than that on the soft tyre. Really surprised, really surprised. Joe says there's something dodgy going on with Ferrari. I don't think there's anything. I think genuinely they've just sorted out. They keep saying they've sorted out their correlation issues or whatever. They've sorted that out, and now the pace that they had in pre-season testing, they've finally been able to go, there it is. We found it. We can use that speed. The problem is, as I said at the start of the stream, it's now nearly the end of September and it's way too late. They needed to sort this earlier in the season, but yeah. Ferrari and conspiracy theories are never far apart, are they, though? I'll give you that one. So Leclerc out on track. He'll be the first one to do a lap as well, I think. Yep, Seb behind him. I think, no, Seb must have... There's Leclerc, Verstappen, Bottas and Hamilton. Vettel is leading, sorry. So Vettel went out first. It's Vettel, Leclerc, Verstappen, Bottas, Hamilton on track. And then behind them we've got a Renault, a McLaren, a Renault, a McLaren, and a Haas. This is a big ask for Seb, you know. 0.3 of a second. A big ask. I'll say it. Prepare to jinx everything. I cannot see Lewis Hamilton finding half a second, and I certainly can't see Bottas finding 0.8. I think this is between the Ferraris, but it's a big ask from Vettel. He needs a faultless lap. I think if Vettel takes pole, keep an eye out on YouTube later because the onboard is going to be incredible. It'll be a balls to the wall lap if he does it. Here we go. Seb coming around to start his lap. I think last across the line is going to be Grosjean. I might be wrong. No, it can't be because they're all improving, so no. But here goes Seb. This is it, turn one, DRS closes. Pretty good through there. He is so much wider than others on the exit of 2. Oh, twitch on the exit of 4. Back end stepping out. Over he goes. He matches Leclerc. But Leclerc's got... Whoa. Vettel matched him and is fastest, but Leclerc's just gone quicker by another 1/10.5. So Seb needs to find about half a second in total over the rest of this lap. This is a massive ask for him. It's not going to happen. Sainz goes into P6, 1:33.2. Famous last words with the not going to happen there. Keep an eye on Verstappen. What can Vettel's down? So it's looking very good for Leclerc. What can Mercedes do? 0.2 quicker again, Leclerc. Absolutely flying. I'm trying to keep an eye on Mercedes. 33.8, 31.5. This isn't, no. Vettel across the line. And he's not going to improve. He does improve his time to a 32.0 to within 0.2 of his teammate. But Leclerc's about to cross the line and does a 31.6 and goes 4/10 quicker than his teammate. Verstappen goes third. 32.3 obviously gets his 5th-place penalty. Better lap for him. That looks like Grosjean coming in the pits from 9th. What can Hamilton do? Out the final corner. Probably put it on pole. Goes second. Where's that come from Lewis? I answered my own question there, didn't I, really? Bottas is in the pit, so he's not going to finish his lap. So, somehow, Lewis Hamilton has got himself on the front row alongside Charles Leclerc. Oh, tasty. Same top 4. Certainly same top 3 as we had in Singapore. So Bottas must have just abandoned it. What was he doing? So 33.7, 31.6. Yeah, he was nowhere, was he? Really. So it is Charles Leclerc. We're going to watch Bottas now. This is what I was waiting for. He's got it all wrong at 13. Correcting the car, and then it's not right for 14. And he's not looked comfortable. He didn't in FP3. He's not looked comfortable with that car all day, Bottas. And that's why he's down in 5th place. Just listening to Charles Leclerc, I think, saying there that he messed up the last sector and he still put it on pole by 0.4 of a second. Jesus. So Charles Leclerc, for the first time since Michael Schumacher back in 2000 and 2001, 4 straight poles for Ferrari. Wow. 0.4 quicker than Lewis Hamilton, who I didn't think was going to get anywhere near the front row. Just going to watch Sebastian Vettel. This is where I think he went wide, out of 7 and just let the rear end get away. But that's cost him a bit of time. But he's down in 3rd place, 2 100ths off the front row as well. That could make strategy interesting tomorrow. And it could be talking undercuts as well, but we'll see. Max Verstappen in fourth. He's 0.6. That's, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. Hamilton very happy on team radio to get that on the front row, I'd imagine. 0.6 off, but he's going to take a 5-place drop, so that's ninth. I think, yeah, quick maths. Bottas, he's in fifth at the moment, a second off pole, and 0.6 off his teammate on a track that he loves. Charles Leclerc, Carlos Sainz in sixth place. Only what do you know? I always say this, and I know it's a huge margin in motorsport, but only 1.5 seconds off pole for a midfielder isn't bad at all. Nico Hulkenberg seventh, Lando Norris eighth, Romain Grosjean 10th, and Daniel Ricciardo. Romain Grosjean 9th, and Daniel Ricciardo 10th. Of course, Grosjean will move to 8th, Norris to 7th, Hulkenberg to 6th, Sainz to 5th, and Bottas to 4th for Verstappen's penalty. 2 seconds separate the top 10. Ricciardo 0.2 off Grosjean, but really 3/10 between Sainz and Grosjean. That's not bad at all. And then the rest of the field, I'll do the rest of the field in a minute before we end. I'll try and get the proper timings up from the graphic that they share on Twitter in a bit, and I'll do it properly for those that stick around. If you are going to disappear because the session's over and not stick around for 10 minutes of chat, then thank you very much for tuning in. It was a pleasure to have you with us. And don't forget to subscribe. We'll be live for the race watch-along tomorrow with the awesome, cool timing graphics as well. So we'll be live tomorrow from about 11:40 a.m. Brunch. Oh, you snob. 11:40 a.m. for the race watch on tomorrow. So don't forget to subscribe if you're new and drop a like on the stream before you disappear. In fact, if you're still watching, please do drop a like on the stream because it really helps the channel out. It's just nice to get a thumbs up. It's always nice to get a thumbs up. So yes, I'm going to stick around for 10 minutes, listen to songs, listen to the reaction. We'll ponder about the race tomorrow briefly, and then I'll hopefully when they share on Twitter, have a look at the full results. Jensen Button in the post-race interview, which will be cool. Can't wait to the pole lap, says Penguino. Obviously, ST, and I'm calling Penguino, it's ST. He's been around this channel as long as I have, but yeah. That should be better. That should be sorted. Just going to go and have a look actually on Twitter while the chat catches up, because you're all going to tell me I'm a robot now in a massive explosion. I'm like, all right, I know I'm a robot. It's sorted. That's quick. Thank you very much, F1. Nico Rosbot. Who's that? Sam, you're a legend. End of. I am Nico Rosbot. I'm just going to put the quali result up super quickly. I think we've got it from... I hope this is the right one, or I've just gone and got the wrong classification, but we'll find out in a moment. I'm sure you'll tell me. I've got so many folders on a race weekend, I cannot... I might just screenshot one day. There's so many. But that is your result from quali. We've got it. There we go. Straight away. Thank you very much to F1 for that. Getting that up on Twitter. But yeah, I will run through that in a moment as well. But I'll take some of your comments and questions on the old race tomorrow. That's a bit like Singapore. Made things interesting with undercuts and whatnot, with Hamilton being second. Yeah. Could we see a repeat? I mean, I probably not, I guess, because I don't think... If you think about it, I don't actually think that they need to... They're going to have to back up like they did quite so much in Singapore, is a point I'm trying to make. So I'd like to think that Leclerc will probably go for it. I do believe Mercedes are probably slightly better on race pace. We saw it in Belgium. We saw it in Monza. We saw it in... were they better in Belgium? They are now. Why not? But we certainly saw it in Monza. We certainly saw it in Singapore. So at times in Singapore. Just trying to work out strategy on the fly here, but I think it'll be a one-stopper. I can't see them going for two, especially with the pit lane speed limit being reduced as well, of course. That's another good point. That means obviously stops are going to be longer. It's dropped by 10 kilometres an hour, 20 kilometres an hour, so that'll have an impact. So they're going to want to make just one stop if they can. But yeah, in terms of start tyres, please do correct me if I'm wrong in chat. In fact, I'll tell you what, I might have it here. Let me have a look. I don't think Mercedes improved on their second runs in Q2. So I think they start on the mediums. I'm not 100%. I'm sure somebody will correct me if I'm wrong on that one, but I don't think they improved. Spit limit. Pit lane speed limit was reduced Thursday, I think it was announced. They do start on mediums. Thank you very much, Freeze. So that makes things interesting. Ferrari, Vettel's going to be fairly quick off the line with those softer tyres on the early run in the race. He needs to get ahead of Hamilton. He's got to get ahead of Hamilton off the line because he's going to be pitting earlier, of course. Doesn't want to end up getting held up. That's going to be interesting tomorrow, isn't it? So, Mercedes might be sitting quite confident in second place with the race pace they've got. So that's going to be good to watch tomorrow. I'll take some of your questions in just a second. I'm just going to check something super quickly over on Twitter. See if we've got any news. But yeah, for those asking, the pit lane speed limit was reduced for safety concerns. There were concerns over safety. I can't honestly say 100% what those concerns were. But we did have some worry last year about the pit entry was quite tight. So we'll see. But yeah, it was a safety issue. And when it's a safety issue, that supersedes everything else in F1. So yeah. Florian says medium to soft maybe, Sean, for Mercedes. That was what I was thinking earlier. Whether they might try the medium to soft, but the strategies that I saw were very much... Shut up, Jack. Were very much... something to the hard tyres, or medium to hard or soft to hard. So, safety car would make that interesting, definitely. But yeah, I'm with ST. What ST was saying earlier. I'm really looking forward to seeing that pole lap from Charles Leclerc because that's a cracking lap. 4/10 quicker than Lewis Hamilton. I'll run through the order very quickly and then I'll take a few questions and then we'll leave it there for today. Charles Leclerc is on pole position, 4th race in a row. Where was this from Ferrari earlier in the season? What a championship fight we'd have if they were on the pace from the get-go. Frustrating. 1:31.628. Lewis Hamilton 4/10 back. In second place, very good lap. I'd like to see that lap as well. I'm sure they'll do it on the Skypad tomorrow pre-race because that's one hell of a lap to get that Mercedes there. He starts on the mediums, Leclerc on the softs, Vettel on the softs as well, 4/10 off his teammates. Max Verstappen, he is 4th, 6/10 off, but takes a 5-place grid drop for the ICE change, the Spec 4 Honda power unit, or ICE. Valtteri Bottas, 5th. A second off, not good from him. Carlos Sainz is 6th. Nico Hulkenberg 7th. I say not good for Bottas. He still ends up 4th, doesn't he? But anyway, Lando Norris in 8th. Romain Grosjean 9th. And Daniel Ricciardo in 10th. Pierre Gasly 11th. Will be staying 11th, I think. No, he's got a 5-place drop, hasn't he? So Perez will move up to 11th. So Gasly gets a 5-place grid drop as well. Perez 12th, Antonio Giovinazzi 13th, again out qualifying Kimi, 14th for K-Mag, 15th for Stroll, made it into Q2, there are obviously reasons behind that, but he still did it. Kimi Raikkonen 16th, George Russell 17th, Robert Kubica at 18th, Alex Albon 19th, and Daniel Kvyat 20th. Daniel Kvyat did not take part because he's had to have another full power unit change, so he will be starting from the back tomorrow. Alex Albon, he did not get out of Q1 because he crashed and brought out a red flag. Frustrating for him, but what I will say, as I said earlier, Daniel Kvyat has shown us this season he can make his way through the field, so that's going to be great to watch. Alex Albon, he's shown us this season with Toro Rosso and of course in Spa as well with Red Bull that he can start to make his way through the field, so that's going to be great to watch. And we've got Verstappen and Gasly out of position as well. So it's been a miserable start to the weekend, I would say, for Red Bull, but I think we could get some spicy action tomorrow. Spicy action. He is good spice, yes. He is the only driver in the 31s. But I think I'll take a couple of your comments and then I think we're going to leave it there for today. Got the double streams tomorrow, of course, as is 99% of the time the case. So I'll take a couple of yours. What's the Merc strategy, says Formula Zone. Oh, that's a... Possibly they could try medium to soft, but I think it will be medium to hard. I just hope that their tyres are fresh enough at the end to challenge the Ferraris. But I think it's all... For Vettel, he's got to get past Lewis Hamilton, and Hamilton will want to keep Vettel behind him. So, of course, Vettel can undercut, can't he? Because he'll pit before, so... and that says, Sean, you have been hanging around with Dan. Yeah, I keep saying spicy, don't I? And tasty. I've got to stop it. Will John to be on the stream tomorrow? He won't be on for the Watchalong, but I can ask him if he wants to be on for the reaction, but I forgot to ask him, so yeah. 2 more poles than Hamilton, 6th this season, 4th in a row. Yes, six poles this year for Leclerc. Good point. Xavier, will we have an amazing or a boring race? That top 4, when Valtteri Bottas gets his promotion, if you like, to 4th place, that has set us up, knock on wood, to potentially have a pretty decent race at the front. I'd never say amazing because we don't know, but it set us up to be a pretty good race. But also, the midfield is once again phenomenally tight this weekend, so if it's anywhere near as close as it was in Singapore, it's going to be awesome. And we've got Verstappen needing to make up places, Kvyat and Albon coming from the back. I think if the top 4 goes stagnant and gets a little bit boring or a little bit dull, depending on how you view it, there's still going to be action through the field. So I think I'm going to go good race. I don't think we're ever going to get a great race in Russia or an amazing race, but I think we'll get a good race. But you may have to look beyond the top 4. Not everybody does. A lot of people just prefer the battle at the front, which is absolutely fine. That's absolutely fine, but I like to watch the whole field, so I think we could be good. What we're saying between McLaren and Renault, do you mean in the battle? I think McLaren will come out on top in that one. They're looking much better than I thought they would this weekend, actually. I thought Alpha were going to be stronger than they are, so I've jinxed them again. Sean, if you're hungry, please go eat. Oh, I'm with you. Not really, no. Wait for me shopping to come anyway. I've got no food in. The TV, the TV prefers the bass at the front. Absolutely. Jack Chambers, House FIFA. And then he swore. Rubbish. Asked for a refund today. That's all I'm going to say on that one. Don't get me started. I will. This is an F1 stream. I will not do it. I'm quite happy to rant about it on other streams or maybe do one on Twitch or something at one point, but I am not. Yeah, I don't want to get into that one. A couple more points and then I'll run through again. Can you live stream the race? I will be live for the race tomorrow. Watch along like this, but the graphics are a little bit cooler. We have them from Cool Timings. In fact, if you are new, I'll head on over there very quickly just to show you the Cool Timing graphics that we use. They're the graphics from Cool Timing that we use for the race tomorrow. So they're a little bit clearer for those on mobile. I know the Planet F1 ones are all right, but the problem with Planet F1 ones is they're a bit difficult on mobile, but they're pretty clear. So that'll be tomorrow for the race watch along from 11:40 a.m. UK time. Looking forward to it. But yeah. I'm trying to find the other screen now. I need to go to qualify one, don't I? But yeah, so we will be live tomorrow, so don't worry. I should play Pez, I know that one. Annette likes the graphics. Do you think Merck is where Bottas or Hamilton is, or somewhere in between? Hamilton's got a habit about driving that car, hasn't he? On the off chance they have a really poor weekend, and it is rare, he tends to get the best at that car, so generally speaking. I'd probably say it's closer to where Bottas is than where Hamilton is what I'd say on that one. So, yes, I'll take 2 more. What do you think about... Ooh, that was camper than it needed to be, but thank you. What do you think about Vettel getting a tow from Charles off the line? Good point. It's a long run down to that first braking zone, isn't it, the chicane? So that's a good point. I mean, a tow off either would do. But perhaps actually, going back to what we were saying about Belgium and that run down the Kemmel Straight, maybe pole isn't the optimum place to be. I mean, obviously drivers would rather start there than second, but maybe Hamilton and Vettel could be swamping Charles Leclerc by turn 1. That's definitely a good spot. That is definitely one to look out for. Definitely. Wow, yeah, Jordan, 3 wide into turn 2. I'll take that one. One more then. Who gets second in the championship? That's from GBM TV, Ian Gibson. I am going to say Leclerc. I'm really hoping you bet the Drivers' Championship. I've just put myself in the firing line. Constructors, it'll be Ferrari. I think Leclerc. I think he's on form. Bottas seems to be struggling at the moment, so I will go with Leclerc for second in the Drivers' Championship. But we will move on I will very quickly, for those that are just tuning at the end, don't forget, once again, if you are new, smash that subscribe button. Yes, I said smash, but there we go. Hit that subscribe button, ready for the watch along tomorrow and the live reaction as well. About an hour after the race, I'll be live with Dan and maybe somebody else. I keep forgetting to ask other people, but there we go. I need to get organised. And of course, the race watch along from 11:40 a.m. as well. But the grid, and don't forget to drop a like as well if you're watching that massively. I think we're at 200 and something, and there was like 1,500 watching at some point. So we can do better than that. Let's have a few more likes. That'd be massively appreciated. But once again, very quickly, your lineup for tomorrow's grid: Charles Leclerc on pole, from Lewis Hamilton, Sebastian Vettel, Max Verstappen, and Valtteri Bottas. Carlos Sainz is 6th, Nico Hülkenberg 7th, with Lando Norris 8th, Romain Grosjean 9th, and Daniel Ricciardo 10th. Don't forget from that top 10 that Max Verstappen also needs to drop 5 places for his penalty. His ICE penalty. Pierre Gasly 11th, he will also drop 5 places. Sergio Perez 12th, Antonio Giovinazzi 13th, 14th for Kevin Magnussen, 15th for Lance Stroll, 16th for Kimi Raikkonen, 17th for George Russell, 18th for Robert Kubica, 19th for Albon after he crashed in Q1, and Daniel Kvyat is last and will start last, I think, whatever happens pretty much, after he took power unit penalties at the start of the weekend, and he's had to take them again before qualifying after what's been a miserable home Grand Prix so far for him. So yes, gutting. Once again, don't forget to subscribe if you're new, and also don't forget to drop a like on these streams before you disappear. Really helps the channel out, and it's always nice to get a few likes on these streams. But I will be back tomorrow, 11:40 a.m, a little bit earlier than usual, but from 11:40 a.m. for the race watch along. Don't forget as well that you can support the stream. All the links you can see there are patrons, some of the patrons on screen there, so you can support me over on Patreon, PayPal and Streamlabs and all of that. The links are down there, as are the links to follow me over on social media. But as ever, thank you for watching. I've been Sean, this has been the F1 Word, and until tomorrow, goodbye.